one seems to be there.
No, not necessary. Just because of lagging. That's why.
Okay, I'll try to keep it on. So
Yeah, no worries.
that's yes. I'll share slides. I mean, I have 2, 3 slides, so that will help me in navigating the talk. And
Yes.
yeah, is my presentation visible to you?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thanks. Yes. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Harsh Deswal. I have not yet graduated, so I am currently a PhD student of IIT Bombay. I have had my pre-synopsis finished, so I was able to join lab research. So yeah, I got placed in November through campus placements in Lam Research Corporation. It is a semiconductor equipment manufacturer, and it works in basically field of semiconductors. It has so top of the line semiconductor fab companies, whether it is TSMC, Samsung, SK Hynix, or whatever. So all those are customers of Lam Research. So you would want to Google what Lam Research does and what this company is all about. Yeah. So that is a brief about me. And I was a PhD, I mean, I am a PhD student in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I work in the microfluidics laboratory with Professor Amit Agarwal. And my research focused on development of on-chip microfluidic sensors for applications in point of care or lab on chip. So that was about my work. Through my journey in PhD, so I picked up different sort of skills that eventually helped me get the job. So semiconductor was not my area as per se, but I worked on those equipment, tools, and fabrication, so that helped me gain experience, relevant experience for equipment manufacturers. And I was able to prepare well and pitch and align my goals towards to the company's goals, and that is how I got selected. So this is how I'll like follow my presentation. So basically sharing my experience and a few preparation strategy tips that you guys will hear from me. I mean, I'm not an expert on that, but I would share what I followed, and it worked a bit for me, and hopefully it works for you as well. Yeah. So my overall experience through placements has been really positive. I mean, the placement office here at IIT Bombay is really supportive, and so if you seek help, you would get help. So that is what I was able to see. If you do not go to them, they would not know what problems you face. So it is always good to have go out there and seek help if you need. So the company was out of my domain. So there are lots of companies. Some will be in your domain, some will be outside of your domain. But in like specific to PhD, so that might not be relevant to MTechs or BTechs. Specific to PhDs, there are a few companies who come earlier. So the usual placement session starts on the night of 30th November, but in my case, it started like the company came a bit early, and all my interviews and the whole entire process was done before the actual placements began. So I had my offer in hand on 26th of November. So since I had a company already in line, so I was able to prepare well for the company. But there might be cases where there are lots of companies, and in a single day, 2, 3 companies you have to prepare for. So you have to streamline or like strategize based on that. So what I did was the company profile was not in my domain. So I tried to reach out to different number of people, whether they were in Nano Lab at Electrical Engineering, IIT Bombay, or there were some alumni who were already working at lab research, and they had some experience, they had some insights to share with me. So what I have learned is that every role that a company puts out at IIT Bombay, so they want people, they want the best people for that job. So they will basically not only look for your technical experience or expertise, but also for your ability to learn well. So companies basically would train you for what they want out of you, but they will like they you would not our academic environment would not directly prepare you for the job that company gives you, so job that company wants out of you. So that is why companies coming here, they basically test on your ability, and so you should be confident in your what you have done. So if you are confident enough in your work, you are able to pitch it well, so they have a sense that yeah, if this guy or this girl is good in their work, surely they will be able to learn our work quickly as well. So that is what my motto was during preparation. So I had like different mock interviews with my peers, with my professors, discussions on different topics to gain confidence in my own abilities, in my own research work. So through that, I was able to confidently pitch that to the company, and eventually it worked out. So it is always like, if you keep on focusing on books or uh, exams or or something like that, so that would not be enough in current scenario, I guess. You have to be like active in different domains. So you have to find out exactly what is the strategy, what is the goal you want to achieve. So if that goal is clear, so there are n number of paths to a goal, right? But you have to take a shortest and the simplest path. So for that, you have to strategize. That for that, you have to plan. So that is the most important part that I guess everyone should focus on. So I had advice from professors, alumni, also from different students at IIT Bombay. So you might not know everything, but there are people who are working in different fields. They know a lot about that. So that goes for MTechs and BTechs as well, right? So if you are going for a technical interview company, so you might want to reach out to people or professors who have some experience. So you can seek their time for 15 to 20 minutes, and they might be very happy to impart their knowledge and their experience to you. So that would be really helpful in my opinion, and would go a long way. Yeah. So concluding with this quotation or an excerpt from a book called "What's Our Problem" by Tim Urban. So it is also a simple adage like "Ek aur ek gyara." We have heard a lot of times, right? So there are a bunch of smaller things that we pick up during our journey, whether it is MTech, BTech, or PhD. They will not even like they at the time you are learning them or at the time you are going through them, you would not feel that they might be important in the long run, but eventually everything comes together and they have a harmonic effect and they increase the outcome multifolds. So that is what happened with me as well, because during my PhD journey initial years, I was introduced to the field of semiconductor fabrication. Coming from mechanical background, I was not aware how I would utilize semiconductor fabrication or sensors, for that matter. But I kept on learning. So with time, I developed interest in the semiconductor field, and eventually I was able to find out that there are many companies. Since it is a growing field, there are many companies who are looking for research individuals to recruit, and eventually I got into one of them. Yeah, so that would be my advice. So you should follow a path. I mean, you should put in time to design your strategy and follow that. And since like it would be more fruitful if you like if there are questions from you guys on what kind of advice you want, because my experience might not be relevant to most of you, because placement for every individual is a huge journey. So whatever inputs I am able to share with you might not be exactly relevant to you. So it would be better if there are questions from you guys, and I can give my inputs based on that. Yes, please.
Yes, please. If anyone have questions, regardless of any domain, not only specific to semiconductor, you can ask.
Everyone here is like, would be sitting for placements, right? Company would want you to speak up.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. So, good afternoon.
Hi.
Uh, Actually, I am a second year student here in MSc, and I am transitioning to semiconductor industry very soon. So I just wanted to ask you that our universities, like our IIT, also focuses mainly on the semiconductor kind of project in academic settings, but in industry it is on the large scale. So how is the transition is like from a academics research environmental research lab to a like big industry? So what is it like for you? That will give me a good perspective.
Yeah. So first I'll tell about myself and then I'll tell generic about the entire field. So what happens is, in my case, my profile is R&D, right? So my company works in development of H tools and deposition tools for the top companies, top fab companies. So my problems are to find out. So if I'm working on a 2 nanometer or 14 angstrom chip, so there will be some H profiles which are to be generated, and those profiles during generation they face a lot of issues. So those issues are specifically divided into different projects by different customers. For example, it is Samsung or TSMC or Intel. So those customers will give different projects to our company or say Applied Materials for that matter, and they will say that we are facing problems in getting this profile. So what can you do? How can your machine solve this? So these kind of problem we get for our work. So we have to find out what are the different recipe changes that we can do, what are the different mechanical changes or electrical changes, or is there a modification in the equipment that is possible that will improve the profile. So this is the sort of work that I am doing. So it is very relevant to what I have been like what is done in academia. It's not very different, purely an R&D role. At MTech level or MSc level, there are some profiles in which they do modeling. So there will be specific training sessions, a specific period assigned in every company. So for example, 6 months to 1 year, they will train you on different tools, and only then till the time you will be given some demo projects to work on, dummy projects to work on. But once you are through and once you are able to learn the project and learn the tools, so you will be directly put on some projects, AI projects to work on. So it is not that difficult, the transition. Academia teaches us how to tackle different problems, how to think, and semiconductor is a field that is growing very fast. So the problems are not, the problems are not of the past. So those are very current problems. So you will get to think, you will get to use your brain to solve those problems. It is very similar to academic, I find. Does that answer your question, Ami? Or you had some other doubt?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Someone is asking for contact details in chat. If it is okay, then we can provide her, sir.
Yeah, you can provide those offline or whatever you want you.
Okay, sure. It's better if you can post it in chat, like whatever is your running number and email ID for professional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions? Most of like, what is the how diverse is this group? So are there people from MTech, PhD? This is PG is only, right?
Yes, yes. So mostly people are from MTech. Very less people are from PhD, but all of them are from MTech major.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone has any questions?
Specific to MTechs, there is Texas Instruments, Applied Materials, and even Lam recruits a lot of MTechs in semiconductor profiles. Since I am in this field, so I would pitch for that only.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to apply for those. Uh, so our placement office is very active, and they are always requesting them to come to the campus. But sometimes what happens is they come to campus and they recruit a few people, but their jobs are always online. So you can directly contact, through their website, you can directly apply, or you can reach out to alumni who are already working in those companies, and you can ask for a referral. So referrals are also very helpful. This I have learned once I have joined the corporate world, that referrals work well. So I would encourage people to reach out to alumni network. IIT Bombay has a big advantage that almost every good company you would find are people there. It would not be difficult to find out alumni through LinkedIn or some other platform. So try reaching out to them, seek help, and most of the times I find they are helpful, would be really good for you as well. So one thing, like one advice that I would like to give people is that, so nowadays placements are not, I mean, you should not passively sit during the placement season. Like a placement office will do everything for you and then they will spoon feed you. So that sort of thing is not, uh, not working these days. Even the companies do not prefer that. They will come here through placement office, but they would conduct their own interview sessions. They are spanning 2 3 months, so they have different requirements now. So you have to be active and you have to be actively preparing for them for long. I mean, you cannot just start preparation 1 or 2 months before the placement season. So you have to be actively involved through LinkedIn, through different portals, find out what sort of interview processes are here, what are the kind of questions. I mean, because questions are generic. So every company would have some basics that they want you to know. They will have some sort of questions they will ask everyone. So you can, if possible, you can prepare those questions well, and that would be really helpful. If you are able to clear the basics round in the interviews, so it gives a very good impression to the recruiters, and they might be lenient in some of the cases then. But if you're not able to clear the basic part, if you're not able to have a good first impression, then even if you like perform well in the later stages, they will have that doubt. So in my case, I had 3 rounds of interviews. In the first round, they had sort of HR. I mean, not HR as per se, but they wanted to ask like, how would I transition? I be able to transition to the corporate world? What kind of work I have done in my PhD? And they also asked their like, what are the basic physics or chemistries that are relevant to their job profile. So apart from that, they also judged me on the thinking ability. So they gave random open-ended questions and tried to gauge what is the procedure or thought process that I am following. So coming out of IIT Bombay, they expect, I mean, the recruiters expect you to be able to try to find a solution to some level to every problem they pitch you. So you cannot just go blank. I mean, you try to make a strategy, and you can think aloud, right? So you can say like, I'm thinking aloud, and I feel that this can be done or this can be done. So if you're thinking aloud, you're telling them your thought process. They might help you, and they might tell you to course correct as well. So that happened with me. So overall, it was a good experience. I mean, also I grew with every stage. So there were 3 stages of interviews. I thought I lacked some things in first stage, which I prepared for in the second stage as well as the third stage. So you should be improvising. You should be correcting your course. If you are following a path or strategy, I mean, that does not mean it will work. If you feel that there are some points you need to work on, you should be ready to work on those.
There are some questions which we have, like PGSC team have collected from the students. So one question is that I would like to ask, like,
Yeah.
what is the advice like, for the transition from academia to the corporate world? Any general advice? Because there will be some like much discrepancies between the environment will be changing from academic to the corporate world.
Yeah. So I would not know whether it is an advice or not, but yeah. So that is being faced by me as well, right? So academic environment is very chill. You do not have very strict deadlines, but in corporate you have very strict deadlines. So if your manager or your head of the department says something to you, so in academia we will note them down, or we might not even note them down. and will say, yeah, we'll see, we'll do and all that. But there they expect you to do that. They expect you to learn a few things. So, but I find that industry environment is far more good in terms that you have defined goals. But in academics, for example, I was a PhD student. In PhD, you have open-ended questions. So things are not, you do not know when it will end. But in industries, you will have a fixed timeline for every project. So you will be doing, say, 5 or 6 projects within a span of a year. So that will be confidence booster, and that will be helpful in your, increase in your salary increment as well. So I guess academia and industry is a bit different in this, in form of deliverables. Other than that, if you find a company of your interest, I don't think there would be much difference in your work ethic. So if you're not able to, so the thing that I am finding in my company is that if I have any doubt, I can ask anyone and learn that. So while you are in training period, they always encourage you to ask questions. You do not have to sit around. So even while accessing a software, so even for creating a profile, they will have some courses that will directly teach you hand holding. So they will spoon feed you how to do things. So even to that extent, they will do. So I don't think there should be any problem for anyone from our institute to adjust to the industry. So that fear, I guess, is not needed. You can uh, try for different companies and see whichever suits your interest without worrying about these things.
I find out one more important question. Like now, phase two of a placement season is going on. So a lot of rejections or say not coming up, appearing in a most of the shortlisted in phase one. And
Hmm.
what would be the main we can say the guidelines for tailoring the resumes, which can be helpful for in phase two placement season.
Okay. Yeah, so that point is important. Uh, Tailor your resume to the demands of that company. So if a company is requiring you to have hands-on, find out what profile it is. So based on that profile, if you have those skills, you can write those skills, or if you do not have those skills, you can quickly try and catch up. Quickly try and brush up, meet people who are already working on those things. So you can beforehand write 2 3 skills in your resume. So this is what I have heard people do. So I did not have to do that because I was already working some of those tools. So I wrote them. So what they do is they write at the time of submission to the company portal, they will write 2 3 skills which they believe they can pick up quickly in a period of 2 weeks or 1 week, and then they start preparing for that. So company would want something relevant to them. So you cannot just keep on pitching what you know. So you also, because they want some work out of you, right? Uh, but if you do not have relevant skills to their job profile, it would be difficult for them to select you, because there are lots of credible and intelligent people who are already in line, who are competing with us all towards the jobs. So yeah, that way we have to be forthcoming. So we have to be smart as well in working and modifying our resume based on that. So you cannot write anything fake or anything unwanted on your resume, but you can project. So you can have a timeline of 2 weeks and work on 1 or 2 skills that are very relevant to that company, and you can write those in your resume. I think that goes a lot. I mean, a lot far in making the company select your resume or shortlist your resume.
Yes, it's quite insightful. If anyone has any questions, you can put it in the chat box, or else you can directly ask. Also in phase two, my voice is clear.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear.
Also in phase two, people are trying off campus. I mean, because it's not very, uh, as we can see, the phase two is not very rushy according to the phase one of a placement of this placement season. So, what would you advise, or what can be the guidelines to apply off campus? What will be the correct approach to applying off campus for particular company, or else it's like, I mean, from referral only, or else different paths are there.
Yeah, so there are a lot of different paths on offline. You can apply, you can try contacting the hiring managers through LinkedIn is one, which I have heard from people. I have not tried it myself, but I have heard from people it is successful in some cases. But it is usually in the case of experienced people. So if you have some industry experience. But in our case, the best advice that I would give you, I mean, I feel it is that you try to contact your alumni who are working in that company and seek for a referral. uh, I was recruited through campus placement in lab research, but when I joined lab research, I found out that in my team and in several parallel teams, 90% of the people came through referral. So they had some contacts which referred them and then they were selected. So, and they are not even, some of them are not even from IITs. So referrals work a lot. So that is what I would say. If anyone feels that their profile is relevant to semiconductor industries, I would be very happy to refer them. So that is what I can say. But I also know a few people, and you can find many people through LinkedIn who are our alumni and who are already working in some companies. They would be happy to refer you. I mean, so why don't you like why I would advise that try reaching out to the alumni network and try asking for a referral. So if you feel that you are suitable for a job, I guess the alumni would not have any hesitation in referring you. And even there are some incentive programs in different companies which support such referrals. So they encourage us to refer as well. So that would not be a problem for us as well, and that would be a gain for you as well. So the referral is another medium. Third medium is directly apply on the website, the company. Uh, there are different job vacancies that are already always updating on those websites. Try applying on different profiles. So you can apply on multiple profiles within the same company. That is never a problem. So if you are applying for 17 profiles in a company and you think that the company will feel, I mean, that does not reflect well, that is not the issue, because companies usually work in teams. So they have different teams for every work, and those individual teams recruit. So company, I mean, there are few companies which recruit in bulk, but other than that, there are specific teams which recruit individually. So if you are applying to 17 different teams, and then they would not know even that you have applied to the 17 teams. So you can apply to any number of teams, attend as many interviews as possible. That would help you course correct, that will help you strategize and eventually get a job. I mean, these are the three prominent modes that are available. There might be some other I am not aware of. I cannot think of that right now.
Yes, there is one more question in chat box from Sanjay.
Yeah. Okay, so he's asking if someone is from mechanical domain, what are the relevant skill sets for semiconductor industries? One thing is that semiconductor industries work in CFD. There are a lot of reactor scale modeling. So specific to my company, there are reactor scale modelings, feature scale modelings that are done. So if you are good in CFD, if you have a modeling knowledge, one aspect is that. Other than that, we have our nanofabrication facility, which has different tools for deposition, etching, measurements, and all that. So even you can gain some experience, some hands on those tools, and you can pitch it in your resume that you have worked on these and these tools. if it is relevant to your project, your research project, that is well and good. If it is not relevant to your project, still you can go be a member of the lab and learn a few tools. You will gain insight on those tools, and that will eventually be on your resumes. So that would be helpful in that direction as well. Semiconductor companies also work on a lot of characterizations. So coming from mechanical background, surface roughness characterization or hardness characterization or toughness characterization. So those are very relevant to every mechanical engineer, and those are very relevant to the semiconductor industries. Thermal heating is a big issue in the fabs. That modeling of that as well as experimentation on that, developing tools for quick heat, heat dissipation is another thing which is very relevant to semiconductor industries. Uh, so mechanical domain is relevant to semiconductor industries, and I think if you are able to tailor your resume to the liking of the company, they would be happy to have an interview call for you. I hope I have answered your question, Sanjay. Or is there anything you could